different than Star Trek.
Otherwise they couldn't monetize it.
Otherwise, exactly. And they just couldn't do it. It's just a big no. Now, those two companies have since merged. This was big news during the week. The two companies have merged, so Star Trek has got one home again, which is good news for Star Trek fans, obviously. But this was the reason Star Trek Discovery looked so different. It was so dark, it was so different, it was tonally, it was all very different. And everything
Even when the Enterprise showed up, it was different.
Yeah, I didn't like Discovery, personally. I know a lot of Star Trek fans that didn't. I also know a lot that did.
I couldn't get past the pilot episode.
I didn't like it. But, anyway, so, now, apparently with the Marvel... Well, no, actually, we'll talk about Star Wars first. There has been a rumour over the last few weeks that a big problem with Star Wars... Now, let me be honest. There's been 4 Star Wars movies released so far under the Disney banner. There's The Force Awakens, Rogue One, Solo, and
Last Jedi.
I love The Force Awakens.
Yep.
I know it was basically a remake of A New Hope. It was a lot of fun. It felt like Star Wars. I loved it. I must have seen it 20 times in the cinema. My kids loved it. We all loved it.
Yeah.
I really, really liked Rogue One. I didn't think it had the same repeat viewing value, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
It felt like Star Wars. I hated The Last Jedi with a vengeance. Right?
Yeah.
I hated everything about The Last Jedi. I just thought it was a mess of a movie. I really, really liked...
There we go.
Hello. We're still recording. Yeah, alright, am I alright? I'll give you a shout whenever I'm done here, alright? Alright, love you. Bye. Anyway, where were we?
Real life getting in the way again.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
So I hated The Last Jedi with a vengeance, right? Hated everything about it. Thought it was a really, really messy movie. Really liked Solo.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, I loved Solo.
So I'm not bashing on the Disney Star Wars, okay? But there is no question that the wheels have been cut off a wee bit.
Yeah,
over the last few weeks.
That and the fact that they've been misusing the legacy characters.
Yes.
In a big way.
Which is interesting, because the rumour is that the reason they've been mistreating the legacy characters is because George Lucas still owns the legacy Star Wars.
See, I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. Yes, there's obviously corporate politics and so forth involved with Star Trek.
Have you heard this now?
I have heard
what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard what you're talking about. Now, I get it because of Star Trek and the differences there. I get it with Marvel and Sony. I don't understand how George Lucas could have a hold on any of this after selling Star Wars to Disney for $4 billion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Surely they must own everything. They own the IP on this.
Well, you would think so.
There's no way that that anything in Star Wars has to be changed to 20% to 50% in order to appease Lucas, because as far as Lucas is concerned, he sold this baby.
Yeah, well, that was my understanding.
He's gone.
But do you not think that it makes sense when you look at like the square disc on the Falcon, how different it looked in Solo, the red arm on C-3PO, the introduction of BB-8 rather than R2-D2? Do you think that makes sense? The way they treated the legacy characters?
See, the thing is, I don't know, because on the one hand, yes, I absolutely understand where this is all coming from.
To me it makes sense. It feels like the Star Trek thing, and we're going to talk about the Marvel thing as well.
Because I don't care who the hell you talk to, Mark Hamill was not playing the Luke Skywalker that we know in The Last Jedi at all. He's playing a completely different character. Whenever Harrison Ford showed up as Han Solo, that to me did not feel like Han.
No, because again, that's not what I felt was going to happen between Han and Leia.
No. And the same thing with Leia as well.
Yeah.
Like there was something radically wrong and different about them.
It also makes sense why it's no longer the rebellion.
It's
and
the resistance and the First Order.
First Order.
See, because the thing is, all this could be purely coincidental. All this could be...
But when you think about it, it doesn't feel coincidental.
I know. But that's because we're used to this now. We're used to things like the differences in Star Trek. We're used to it with the Marvel and Sony deal.
Yeah.
So naturally, the cogs all mesh here. And yeah, I can see where it's coming from. But it could all just be pure coincidence.
It could. But it's just weird. It
is weird, yeah. But again, it's the circumstances that bite me. I don't get this. It was a done deal.
Yeah.
Sold and signed. In 2012, they made that deal. It was over.
But see, do you know this whole idea? Whenever Lucas gave the story to Disney, he had already plotted out where he thought 7, 8, 9 should have went. And then they were basically, nope, and got rid of it.
Yeah.
maybe if you tie that into it, that's why they got rid of it, because they wouldn't have to pay him for the idea. Do you know, maybe there was some sort of entanglement in that.
But they've already paid him.
I know.
I don't get it.
I know. But I just think it does make sense. Like, silly wee things, the Falcon having a square disc, why?
Yeah, R2-D2 and C-3PO were barely in it.
C-3PO was a red arm, why?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel Luke Skywalker's character in The Last Jedi was just completely destroyed.
He was wrong.
Yeah.
It was wrong. He didn't feel like Skywalker at all.
Yeah. Which gets us to the Marvel thing. Now, we're going to talk about Sony and Marvel now, because it turns out that Sony has taken Spider-Man back from the MCU.
Or allegedly is.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I think they have. But on saying that, I still also think they might be able to work it out.
No, I think this is a power play at the minute.
It is. But it's a power play that if they don't get what they want, either way, it will
screw you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you guys, going home. So this would explain a lot of things. Why we don't know, but the rumour is that Sony, because they own Spider-Man, they gave the rights back to Marvel to make Spider-Man movies under the understanding that they weren't exactly Spider-Man, which would explain why MJ isn't called Mary Jane.
Yeah.
It would explain why Peter Parker is basically Iron Man Jr. It would explain why Aunt May is pretty hot.
Yeah.
It would explain why Uncle Ben doesn't exist, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It would explain, so many little differences. I liked Far From Home. I liked Homecoming.
Yeah.
But they were okay, and they never really felt like Spider-Man to me.
I understand that. Yeah, I get that.
Spider-Man to me is Peter Parker. He's a kid with a shitload of problems that go beyond just being Spider-Man, where he's stitching up his suit, he's coming home, he's bleeding, he's bruised, he's trying to work out how he's going to... He's not putting on super suits, and he's not running around saving the world. He's
with high-tech sunglasses, yeah.
That's not Peter. That's not Spider-Man to me. No. Maybe down the line, but, when he started, I know he says, I'm your friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. He was never the friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man.
He was for like a total of 6 months before Tony Stark got him.
Yeah. And then it would also explain why J.J. Jameson is now basically a controversial talk show host kind of thing.
Yeah, he's become Alex Jones.
Yeah, he's Alex Jones rather than the J.J. Jameson. Because in the comics, J.J. Jameson, even though he's a bit of a dick regarding Spider-Man, was a noble man. He was a good guy who just wanted, he just believed Spider-Man was not all he seemed.
I mean, the prime example that they got right with that in the Raimi movies, whenever he wouldn't give up Peter Parker to the Green Goblin.
Yeah. That, essentially, he's a very different character.
Yeah.
So this to me all makes sense. Which again is like the little differences in the Star Wars movies, and it's the little differences in
Star
and
Trek
again, I'm not talking about because MJ is now a black girl. I don't mean that. I mean her character isn't MJ.
Yeah, she doesn't look like MJ, and she's not called MJ. She doesn't even use the face it tiger, you just hit the jackpot line.
Yeah, and even in the first movie, I just thought of this the other day. In the second movie, they constantly call her MJ. But in the first movie, he didn't even know that was her name.
Yeah, she's just called Michelle.
She was Michelle.
Yeah.
Do you know? But now everybody knows her as MJ. And even the bully, Flash Thompson, completely different.
Yeah.
And again, not just in a let's write him this way, just a completely different character.
Yeah, and again, it's those weird little things that annoy me, because you don't know what has been changed because of a deal. Yeah. You don't know what's been changed because I think this is a better idea.
Yeah.
When it comes to Flash Thompson as the bully, I get that.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem. Most of these things I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, but I mean, I get that why you would progress the character that way.
Yeah.
Because in this day and age, bullying isn't give me your lunch money. Now it's we're all going to tweet you to go kill yourself on social media.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So I get that they would change the aspect of a bully character to be that in this day and age. But at the same time, you're kind of looking at it going, well, I'm kind of used to Flash Thompson being a big badass that looks like he could kick scrawny little Peter Parker's ass.
Exactly.
Which, we've seen that in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, we saw that in the Raimi Spider-Man movies. And now all of a sudden this character comes along. He's a different ethnicity as well. I'm very tired. A different ethnicity. He's rich. He clearly has problems at home, which we saw in Far From Home at the end, where his parents don't even come to pick him up from the airport after his entire class have been through a whole ordeal in Europe. Mm-hmm. And he takes his kind of issues out on Peter by picking on him. So he is a radically different character from the Flash Thompson that we know. I get that, but is that something they changed in order to appease the deal?
I think it's a necessity. Even the Ned character isn't who he is in the comics.
No, he's not. He's
more like Miles Morales' friend.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think this is all changed through necessity. And I gotta be honest with you, I like Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland's potentially be a great Spider-Man. I liked him more. Funny, I was talking to somebody about this today. I liked him in. It was actually Gareth Watson, who's a big Marvel fan. I really like Spider-Man more in Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
I liked him as Spider-Man more in those movies than I did in his own movies.
Well, see, that's because in those movies he's part of an ensemble cast, so you only get so much time with him.
Yeah.
So you have to basically take everything who Spider-Man and who Peter Parker is and condense that down to fit.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about it, it's so bizarre. Civil War, a lot of people don't seem to realise, that's where two major players now in the MCU, or formerly a major player in the MCU, were first introduced. Because we had Black Panther show up out of nowhere, and we had Spider-Man show up. In a Captain America movie where the Avengers are fighting each other. That's insane, and it shouldn't work, but yet somehow the screenwriting is so streamlined at that point that they could do it. So you have Peter Parker show up for 5 minutes, Tony Stark has a conversation with him, and you get it. You get who Peter Parker is and what he's doing. It's fantastic. Likewise, whenever he's fighting, you get all the classic Spider-Man moves.
Yeah.
And it's great, and it works in small doses. Same thing with Infinity War, and obviously the same thing for Endgame, where he's in it for 2 seconds.
Yeah, but on the battlefield. But this is what I'm talking about, the struggle. In those movies, he's struggling, he's out of his depth.
Yeah.
That's Peter Parker. It just didn't feel like that in the other movies.
Even when Tony Stark first meets him, he comes in the bedroom, he goes, "Oh, you're a dumpster diver." Yeah, because he comes walking in with the DVD player and everything, and to me that was Peter Parker. Because didn't he used to live in these big kind of run down apartment blocks in Civil War? Yeah. And then it cuts to Homecoming, and he's in this fancy kind of apartment.
I don't even know where he's
place now.
I can't remember where he's living.
He's still in the apartments, but they look nicer and stuff.
Right. Okay.
And the same thing in school as well. He's not really picked upon, or nothing seems to trouble him.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Whenever Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, the scene on the bus, and
I think it was a little bit egregious in places.
It was
in Sam Raimi's movies, especially in Spider-Man 2.
But Sam Raimi's movies were pantomime. I mean, they were very. I know Spider-Man 2 is an amazing movie. Spider-Man's pretty good. Spider-Man 3 is crap, but they are so. It's what you were talking about earlier on, this hyper real world.
Yeah.
Where everything is to the nth level. It's like, oh my, all right, okay, we get it. Yeah. To me, anyway, so the deal is this. Up until this point, I believe Sony was financing the Spider-Man movies, is that right? They financed Far From Home and Homecoming?
Were they? I could have sworn it was Disney.
Did Disney finance them? Whatever it was anyway, Sony were taking 50% of the profit, and Marvel were getting 5% of it. Marvel still owned all the merchandising rights, the comics, everything else. And basically, apparently what has happened is Marvel came to them and said, right, look, we want 50-50.
Yeah.
And Sony were like, no. But apparently Sony did try to counter their offer.
Yeah, it was a 70-30 split, wasn't it?
Something like that. And Marvel apparently were like, no. Kevin Feige was like, no, it's not going to happen. And Sony at this stage now have basically said, well, we have Into the Spider-Verse, we have Venom. Sony really want their Spider-Man in Venom anyway.
Yeah.
The guy that's writing the Kraven the Hunter movie was told, put Peter Parker in that movie. They want Spider-Man in their universe. So for Sony it's a win-win. I think obviously there's a financial thing, but I still think they're getting Spider-Man back. They have all the rights. They have now got this big Spider-Man universe which they're starting to build.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of what they wanted.
It is, yeah.
It almost feels as if, because a lot of people seem to be not talking about this online, they have got Tom Holland for 2 more movies.
They do, yeah.
So
and they have John Watts as a director as well.
Well, apparently, I'm hearing now that apparently they don't have Watts. I don't know, but Tom Holland is signed in for at least 2 more movies. So the cliffhanger that Far From Home ended on will
not get resolved.
No, it will get resolved. They'll be able to resolve that.
Yeah,
because they own the rights to that movie, basically.
Yeah, because it's just the only difference is that no mention of Tony Stark, no mention of the Avengers. Yeah. None of this, but plenty of mentions of Venom and Kraven the Hunter, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but that story will get resolved.
Yeah.
Now, this is a controversial thing. I put this on Twitter today. It didn't seem too popular, but whatever. That's what Twitter's all about. I'm actually quite happy with this deal.
Okay.
Because I think Spider-Man